When you're considering a blockchain project for your business, you don't want to just do a blockchain project because everyone else is doing it. The fear of missing out type of implementations never seem to work out. You want to do a blockchain project just like you would approach any other project for any other software system. You make a reasonable business case and adjust to see if it meets a reasonable return on investment. And so the first thing you need to do when examining whether a blockchain project would be appropriate for you is the first thing is to identify a use case. In other words, are you going to use it for your supply chain because you want greater supply chain visibility? So you look at your supply chain and you understand if your other people in your supply chain, the other businesses in your supply chain sending you the parts and you're purchasing the parts from them, if they're willing to join the blockchain and if they're willing to build an ecosystem for your blockchain so that it makes viable sense. For example, when Walmart got involved with the IBM Food Trust, they needed to be reasonably assured that all of their supply chain were able to join the blockchain and become equal participants in the supplying of data and information along that supply chain until that supply chain eventually, all that product eventually made it to their stores. Without a viable supply chain, all part of the blockchain, it would not have really made sense. So that's part of the use case identification, where you make sure that there's a viable opportunity to turn the time and money that you spend in coding this new blockchain into a viable return on investment. The next thing to do is to develop then a business blueprint. In other words, you've got to go into your business and distill down your processes and figure out what parts of those processes are going to be part of the blockchain and what parts of those processes would generally not be part of it. In other words, you've got to figure out, just like you would in any other software development, you would develop all of the reports that you want and scope out all of the inputs and the outputs and all of the data that you want to reasonably be able to retrieve from the blockchain. In other words, you have to take your entire business process that you want to automate and distill it down to a process diagram and an ability to see the component parts so that all those component parts can be coded then into the blockchain, into smart contracts, into reports and data inputs and forms and screens and all of the other things that you would normally put into any other software development project. Remember, a blockchain is a data system. It is a way of tracking and building up your data in a secure manner. And the underlying data structures that are under blockchain are going to enhance your business's ability to see the data along the way because of all the participants that are in it, as well as the mutability that it offers in knowing that none of those, the actors that you have as part of that blockchain can just change data willy-nilly. In other words, what happened in the past is going to stay in the past and it's going to be recorded and it's going to be visible. So it creates that trust layer that is always necessary when you want to automate a process with your partners that you have in business. So once you've done all those things, then you develop a technology blueprint. In other words, you're going to make sure that the technology aligns with your business strategies. And so that you make those technology design decisions along the way that enhance your business and are part of the deployment options that are developed along the way. If you look at, for example, the TradeLens blockchain and go look at some of those videos, by the way, those resources are in the resources section in my YouTube channel. Look in the playlists and you'll see a resources playlist, and I've put some TradeLens videos there that are very good to see all of the various components and parts that are part of the TradeLens blockchain that each one of the participants gets into and participates in their particular piece of the puzzles, whether they're a supplier, whether they're a shipper, whether they're the customs agent, or all of those different pieces and parts. They have their own part of the blockchain and participate at that level. So the technology design decisions need to be made at this point. Now, you're not going to automate your entire business with blockchain. In other words, the blockchain will do a component, but you've got to connect the blockchain data to your enterprise systems that already exist. So you've got to take the feedback that your supply chain software, let's say your supply chain is being automated by the blockchain, you have to take that supply chain data, all the payments, the invoices, and the purchase requests, and the requests for quote, and all of that data eventually has to plug into your accounting system, for example. And so you've got to worry then at this point about all the integration points so that your business can then connect with this wonderful system that your programming partner has developed, whether it's in-house or whether it's IBM or another partner. So think of all these four processes that are involved in your first project as a blockchain. You've got to develop the use case. You got to make sure your processes are well defined. Then you've got to plug those processes into the kind of technology that's going to be necessary to implement your blockchain. And then you've got to integrate the blockchain with the enterprise. So I hope you've enjoyed this quick overview of what it takes to develop a blockchain project. And if you do, please hit that subscribe button, help me grow the channel and get the word out about this wonderful new technology called blockchain. Thank you.